Andy, I'm wearing UTSA gear right now, and that sucks. But soon, I'm going to be wearing our own stuff from Elite Sports, and that'll change my life.
I am so excited. I was talking to my mom. I was on the phone with her when you sent me the text that Elite Sports has our Squaring Around merch. And I told her, guess what, Mom? I know what I'm getting you for Christmas. It's going to be a Squaring Around hat. I'm so pumped. I cannot wait to be rocking the Squaring Around gear on this podcast and then just around the regular time. How many people have a podcast? Billions. How many people have merch? Hundreds. How many people have merch as cool as Elite Sports? Zero. It's only us. We're the only group that has this cool crap.
Yeah, and when you buy that stuff, you can directly support this podcast. We appreciate your business. We appreciate you supporting Elite Sports. They've been with us since the very beginning, since before our DCTF arrival. So we appreciate them for just hanging out with us. And, Shane, the guy that owns Elite Sports, he's a beast. So we appreciate your work, Shane.
Shout out Elite Sports. Shout out Squaring Around. Shout out you. Please continue to support Elite Sports and us.
Yeah, EliteSports.com. Use code SQUARE at checkout.
Tired of winning the tailgate but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squaring Around with Jakob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Squaring Around on Hispanic Heritage Month, everybody. This is my month. But Hispanic Heritage Day at Bobcat Stadium on Saturday when the Bobcats take on Nevada. This is the first time that I can remember in a long time that Texas State put up over 70 points in a game recently against Jackson State. I don't believe in recap content because who the hell is going to edit that video? You want me to do 2 a week now? Come on, what is this?
That cracked me up when you went through it and you were like, we're not doing a recap video. I was like, we put 77 points up. You got, no. I'm like, all right, great. So let's talk Nevada. I want Jackson State. It's in the rearview mirror. We'll talk to Lindsey Scott here Jr. in a minute because I want to get to the interview and then I want to talk at the back end of it, Jacob. Can we do that? Can we kick that off?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's do that. Lindsey Scott Jr., one of the best FCS quarterbacks of the past 20 years, 71 touchdowns last year for Cardinal Word. I thought he was the engine to the DJ Kinne offense, and we got a chance to talk to him as a analyst now for the Bobcat offense, and it's one of the best interviews we did. Rip-roaring interview. You're going to have a ton of fun laughing and joking with us. So here it is.
And that was only the recorded part, This is exclusively on the Republic of Football Podcast Network. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Squaring Around. I'm Jakob Rodriguez. That's the Texas State Sports Prez. And we are joined by product of Zachary High School, Zachary, Louisiana, Walter Payton award-winning, Lindsey Scott Jr., the offensive analyst at Texas State. And if you were in the San Antonio area, you might also remember he's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation last year. Threw for 71 touchdowns. Lindsey, thanks for joining us. What's been going on, man?
Not much, just actually a lot, but in San Marcos,
Humble
Texas, flex in San Marcos, Texas, with my guys, trying to continue string along a good season we got going. A lot of things going on my end, trying to stay in shape and get ready for my pro season coming up, and just being a good mentor to these quarterbacks. So doing a little bit of squaring around,
Yeah.
Perfect, bro. Perfect. Look at that. He said the name of the show. No, so got two first things. First things first, shout out Chris, the SID. Jacob always wants to give this guy all the love in the world, but he finally gave us a perfect background. The background is
money.
Spectacular for Lindsey Scott. Second thing, so Jacob sends me a rundown sheet every blue moon now. He doesn't do it all the time, but he sends me this and he goes, Lindsey Scott, 5'11", 212 pounds. Nobody's 5'11". People are either 6 foot or they're not. So Lindsey, let's get that out of the way first.
You sound like every girl I've ever talked to.
let's get that out of the way first. Let's clear the air right there. You're not 5'11". You're 6'1", right?
Yeah, 6'3" on a good day.
Well, especially in boots, I imagine.
That's what I'm saying. Look, in cleats, I'm 6'1". Tell the NFL scouts that. But but look, I've always felt like, me personally, like, the quarterback position is it's kind of one of those things. Unless you're like 6'7", you're really not seeing over offensive linemen. Like, even a guy that's like 6'3", 6'2", they have to kind of see through their lanes and stuff like that. But I'm definitely hitting the sixes in the cleats.
There it is. The case against the tall quarterback. I've been on this corner forever. I've been like, well, I grew up with Brock Osweiler as like the poster child of like big and slow. You know what I mean? And who needs that? I watched Big Ben play. I was like, who needs this? Give me a quarterback that can move around, man. And that's what you did last year at UIW.
You're either Kyler Murray or TJ Finley. One or the other.
TJ's a dog. The thing about TJ is like he may be 6'7", but he can like move a little bit though. Like
he had two on the ground last week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He came to the sideline. He's like, I'm gonna run him dual threat. I was like, hey, yeah, sure, bud. TJ's a dog.
So I was talking to GJ about this earlier this season, because I remember UIW beating Texas State. And I remember hating the Cardinals, and I was like, I'm not going to ever root for these guys again. And then something funny happened. You came and played North Dakota State. And there's one thing, the enemy of my enemy is my friend here. And I was so excited to potentially have you guys knock off the Bison, just so I could be like, yo, my guys, San Antonio, right? Talk me through that game, because you probably and this, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass here. You probably are the best player that's come through the Fargo Dome, like that I got to see since I moved up here a couple years ago. So talk me through that game. Talk me through the lead up to that and playing in that game.
Yeah. Just the entire playoffs was kind of crazy. We had the game winning drive to go beat the Paladins, and then right after that, another game winning drive to beat Sacramento State, and then you're heading back into that situation again where you're playing a really good team. Obviously they are well known in the FCS community, powerhouse. And I think what I enjoyed the most about that week is just looking at everybody, to my left and right, going to practice every day, and not a single guy flinched. Everybody was like, we have a chance to go make history. We've done it twice before. Let's go do it again. We did a great job of preparing that week. Preparation was great. Coach Leftwich and Coach Kinne obviously putting together a great game plan. I think the craziest part is when you step off the plane and it's like, oh my goodness, what is all this white stuff? I mean, it was freezing cold. Thank goodness.
And you're not talking about the snow.
I'm talking about the stuff. But going up to the Fargo Dome, that was great to see. It's crazy that there's an FCS team out there, and I'm sure there's other, predominantly in the north, where they had that type of atmosphere, that type of facilities. But the Fargo Dome was rocking. It was loud. The stands are like right behind you. Like there were probably like two 12-year-olds literally the entire game heckling, just like sitting there, making. That's
dangerous. Yeah, that's real dangerous.
Middle school, your mom jokes, all that. So, but it was a lot of fun. Obviously, didn't get the job done. But you can't win them all. But definitely a great experience.
I think if that game is played on the moon, it's a different outcome. That's all I'm gonna say. Neutral site. I think we got a different ball game going on. Yeah. Dude, you were incredible last year. I know when GJ came to Texas State, the conversation then turned into, wait, we can't bring Scott with us too? Wait, he can't play? We can't get him another year? And I remember talking to Jacob when the hire happened, and I remember saying, like, GJ Kinne, he did an incredible job at UIW. He's got a really nice pedigree, but that quarterback did a lot to help him last year. And what do you have to say about your head coach and that relationship last year playing together?
I've had this conversation many times, just naturally as well. When I was leaving Nicholls State, and I was thinking about coming out, trying to go, prepare for the draft. And at that time, a lot of guys had a running back grade on me because I ran the ball a ton there. And I talked to Coach Kinne, talked to Coach Leftwich while I was thinking about that process, took an official visit, and we literally sat down and watched film the entire time. And in that meeting, I thought to myself, I was like, wow, this is the first time in my college career where I've had a head coach that played quarterback, played offense predominantly, well, mostly, and then a offensive coordinator who also played college quarterback. So I was like, I felt like it was a no-brainer. You have just two great offensive minds kind of being my mentor and helping me kind of evolve as a quarterback. And when I got there, I just immediately knew it was the right choice. There's something about the way that Coach Kinne, the way he leads and coaches his team that allows you to kind of play relaxed, opposed to having, maybe a bit of an older coach who just doesn't just understand his players. That's what I like about him the most. He's still young. He's still cool, hip with the lingo or whatever you want to say. I'm hip to the game. You play that little bit, put that little baby on, all that.
Yeah, I was gonna
say. So I mean, like just waking up every morning, going to practice, and know that's who you're playing for. It gets you a little more juice when you got to bed in the morning. So definitely a great head coach, and I mean, I'm so happy that I was able to play for him.
Have you seen him grow? Because we talk about a younger coach,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's a lot of growing to do too, not from an immaturity level, but just from getting reps as a head coach. Have you seen him grow? And you can see something this year that maybe last year, oh, I remember we did it this way, but now we've changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think that to be a good coach and a good offensive coordinator and all that good stuff, you have to kind of continuously evolve with the things that are going around you. The game's going to change always. I think just in a year's time, just in the way we do things operationally, that's gotten better from last year. Just kind of just watching him on the sidelines, as a player and as a coach. Now that I'm on the sidelines, I just kind of watch his demeanor the entire time. And he never really had any issues last year, but you can kind of see there's some situations that now he's had underneath his belt, maybe that he got from experience last year. So he's just constantly growing, constantly evolving into the best version of himself every day, and he kind of preaches that down to the players and also his staff. So
he hasn't had to. I don't think, and Jacob, maybe you can correct me here. He's never been in a really tough situation now when it comes to pressure wise through two games here or 3 games for Texas State, because UTSA game was the closest to that. And even then, the camera was panning on him. He didn't look like he was too stressed out. Looked pretty calm, cool, and collected calling the plays. So, last year, there was some situations. You talk about the game-winning drive against Sacramento State. You talk about the game of the Farmago Dome, where there were more high-pressure situations. He doesn't crack. He doesn't crack under pressure.
No, that's what I enjoy, especially as as a starting quarterback. When I come to the sideline and I see my head coach and he has no, concern on his face, it kind of makes me feel a little better, opposed to come to the sideline, seeing your leader kind of freaking out and spaz, and that's just something he doesn't do. He's always calm, cool, and collected. Last year there was a point in the Sacramento State game where I messed up. He comes to the sidelines, hey, we're gonna be all right, we're gonna get the ball back, just stay ready and stuff like that. It goes a long way, especially when you're in tight. Close games, close situations like that. And that's always been one of my favorite things. Is I come to the sidelines, I mean, he's nothing to bother him,
Well, what's funny is we got coaches in the Sun Belt Conference who are crying. You know what I mean? They're getting their ass kicked and they're weeping on the sideline. Yeah. So, it's nice to see a coach that even when you lose to your rival, I'm pissing vinegar, I'm angry about it, but he's just yeah, man, we're going to get him next week. We'll be fine. Yeah. That to me is it's great. Now we rack up a couple of those tight losses and he's saying, hey, we'll be on the next one. I'm going to be a little feel a certain way. But right now, the honeymoon is still very much on. We're having Cabo.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about that just because even if that were to happen, he's going to do whatever it takes to kind of steer the ship. And honestly, in my personal opinion, I don't think it will even take a couple of losses. We don't even talk about that. But from the UTSA game, when unfortunately the close game we lost. I think he does a good job of preaching the message that you got 24 hours to think about this and it's on to the next one. Don't let the last game ruin the next game. And I think that mindset. I think back to last year, we lost a close game, literally against Southeastern Louisiana, 35-35. They threw a Hail Mary 2 seconds to win. And they win the game. That stings. That could really mess you up going to the next week. And just his demeanor kind of helped the entire team just kind of ease that pain off a little bit and move forward. So I think that's something that he does very well.
I got to see his poker face. Well, it wasn't really much of a poker face post Baylor win. He was ecstatic. And then I saw Kelly Danfus, the president, walk in soaked after hanging out with the players for a little bit. I was like, this is nothing I've ever seen before. But during the press conference, his face was basically the same as in UTSA. I could see the clock ticking in his mind. You only have so much to process this win and also the loss. So I could see that too. Yeah,
that's just the formula, and that's how it goes. We can go into Bryant-Denny Stadium and go beat Alabama, And he's gonna say the same thing: 24 hours, enjoy it. Monday we're back to work. So that's just how it works.
Well, especially this year, it looks like for Alabama. If this is the year Texas State could do it, it could be this year.
Yeah.
So what, like, because UIW was your 5th stop, right? And this journey for you goes back to 2016.
Yeah. So I signed to LSU in 2016.
I was gonna say list them off, baby. Let's go
yeah,
through it.
I got this memorized.
I want to make sure my list is right. So it's LSU, East Miss Community College, Mizzou, Nichols, then UIW, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And now Texas State.
Now Texas State. Yeah. They were trying to petition for the 8th year, man. They were trying. I had to shoot it down. I can't take another summer of college conditioning.
That's funny. The NCAA said, get a job.
Basically. Did you see the Coach Kinne actually sent me this the other day? There's a tight end that's like petitioning for his 9th year.
Yeah.
9's a little much,
He's 30. Come on, bro. Get a job. The rest of us are out here paying taxes. What do you
know what's funny? You know what's funny? Like when I first transferred UIW, like people on Twitter saying the same thing. It's like, you can do like 24, get a job, this and then as soon as you start throwing the touchdowns, there's like, oh my God, 7th year, this, that, and the other. Look, all you gotta do, the perfect remedy is throw a couple touchdowns. You'll be all right.
Nice, yeah.
I mean,
throw 71. Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean that too. That worked.
Yeah, set the FCS record for passing touchdowns, and all of a sudden everybody loves you, right? Like, shocker, bro.
It's
like,
funny how that works.
It is his job. Leave him alone.
I mean, with NIL now, man, like it kind of is.
Hey, yeah, I wish NIL came out a little like while I was a freshman in high school, sophomore year, because I went through.
What sponsorship would you want to go get? Like, what's a like business that you're like, hey.
Well, I got my bachelor's in computer science, so any tech company, and even right now, any tech company that wants to send me some monitors, keyboards, whatever, or some golf clubs, some new wedges, that probably been up and down the alley. So, but with that stuff, I think it's more local, So, I know like at LSU they have the Todd Graves, the owner of Canes. He went to LSU. He does that a good bit. Walk-ons is another restaurant out there. So, I mean, whatever to kind of enrich the community, because I think at the end of the day, that's what it's really about. Obviously.
I think that you just uncovered something that nobody's thinking about. IBM, bro. That's a multi-billion-dollar company out here. Like, hey, go get that deal, bro. Cybersecurity. Be like, hey, as a quarterback, you can't turn the ball over, and like you can't turn over your credit card information. IBM, think smarter. Boom, bro. That's crazy. We got it. Hey, get him on the phone. We got it.
You might have a career in marketing. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, give up podcasting, Zim.
I need to go become an agent. I could be getting big bucks, bro.
Big bucks. Yeah. Well, I guess I'd never really met many quarterbacks, let alone football players in general, that go like that, like STEM route. Like, what did that look like for you on your own end?
Ooh, at the beginning, I don't know why, it was rough. I mean, like it was rough all the way until I graduated. So like my mom is she's an accountant at LSU. My dad is an attorney. So obviously school has always been important. In high school, I took a little computer coding class. I was like, this is pretty cool. Like typing stuff, make a website. So I decided this is what I wanted to go to. Little did I know what I was really getting into. And I think earlier in my career, it kind of held me back as a quarterback because I was so concerned about like, this Calc 3 paper's got to, test has got to get done, or this coding assignment's got to get done. And when I finally graduated and started moving my master's, grad school's a little bit easier. It's kind of, less schoolwork, more kind of in-depth conversation with your professor, however that may work. That's why I was able to really kind of hone in on my game and, spend more time.
Nobody pulled you aside and said like, hey, it's student athlete, but let's be real here, bro. Like,
I mean, like I like to challenge myself, and I always, I was one of those football players that, in the back of my head, I can be however, as good as I want to be. At the end of the day, there's going to be a day where I can't play anymore. Mm-hmm. So I want to do something still where I can do meaningful work and make, good money. Because at the end of the day, that's why most people go into STEM. And then I had a freshman advisor at LSU, and I'll never forget this. I walked in, we had this thing called Breakfast Club at LSU, all the freshmen doing their work in the morning. And she walked down and sat next to me and we were talking about me and STEM, this, that, and the other. And she looked at me and she was like, I want you to come out here with this degree. Like, don't change majors. Like, I'm telling you, you can do this. And for some reason, there's been plenty of times where I thought about switching, and that always stuck in the back of my head. So shout out to her.
That's great. Texas State is not like that. They went out of their way to prevent us from graduating. They were like, hey, no, seriously, you'd show up for graduation and you'd be like, hey, am I good to go? And they're like, actually, nobody told you had to take 3 like courses of Spanish. You're like,
Yeah.
what? Like,
Nobody told me that.
Happen? Yeah, I know. So I'm glad that you had a good advisor. The Texas State ones, there's a couple times where they looked at me and they go like, are you sure you go here? I'm like, dude, yes. Like, what do you mean?
That's funny. My cousin's now an advisor at Texas State. So maybe if you need any credits, Andrew, he can help you out, Ryan.
Yeah, pretty much run them by me, bro. Like, they gave me my degree, but I think it was the grace of God. They were like, we need to get this guy off campus.
That's funny.
Like, it was the end of the Spavital era, and I think that they saw the writing on the wall. They go, if we have this kid on campus, like, it's going to be hell. Like, he's going to throw a bitch fit. Like, we got to get him out of here. So, they
athletics
sent me to
department
North
is the
Dakota.
one that got you out, They were like, you gotta sweep this guy out of here.
Honestly, yeah.
Were you guys roommates? Were you roommates?
No, but it feels like it sometimes.
I'm getting roommate vibes.
No,
and they were roommates.
Yeah,
that's refreshing talking to you, Lindsey, because like I think I want to say the same age as you. I'm 25. Are you around that same area?
Yeah,
26.
24.
Yeah, so now we're talking to like children basically when we talk to the best baseball player from last year, Chase Morrow.
I feel like I walk in here and it's like some of the guys from UIW last year, like almost the whole O-line and 2 of the defensive guys, really like 3. They were with me at UIW. These are my teammates, and now they're here, and it's just like sometimes they'll throw the Coach Scott out there just joking around. I'm like, ooh. And then the freshmen, the freshmen always hit me with the Coach Scott. It's just young kids, and it kind of makes you. It's like when somebody calls you sir for the first time. You're like, you don't have to call me sir. You don't have to do that. So still getting.
I moved up here, and luckily enough, one of the community members was like, hey, you don't have anybody that you know. How about you come over for Thanksgiving, watch football? His kid's 21, 22, and we're sitting on the couch, and I'd never met this guy before in my life. And he said, sir, and I was like, how old do you think I am? He said 35. And at that point, I was so upset, I almost left.
Moisturizer routine.
Dude, I know. That's my thing. I was like, I look good. I've had so many people come up to me and be like, what are you, like 18? Because I can't grow facial hair. And this guy's saying 35, bro. But he spun it off being like, well, it's knowledgeable about the game. And maybe that's going to happen to you, Lindsey. Maybe people will be like, I thought you were older just because you're so cerebral. You understand the game so well.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I don't want to think I'm older, but if it's a a compliment like that, I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, they try to spin it off on you. All right, let's talk quarterbacks, because I am of the opinion that if you have 2, you don't have 1. I feel like Texas State has TJ Finley. Am I wrong about this? Do we have 2 quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think we have 2 quarterbacks that I think, you put them in the game no matter what the situation, and, the Bobcats will come out on top. They both have, great skills in their bags. They're different and they're the same at the same time. So I think it's best you just ask questions because I'm gonna ramble.
There you go. Yeah. So let's do this, because you're never going to say, nobody ever says anything bad about any of these guys, which is completely fair. That's our job. So go through and talk good about both these guys. What are some of the top 3 traits when you talk about TJ Finley as a quarterback?
Okay. TJ, obviously, he's your big 6'7" quarterback. He kind of stands in the pocket, can kind of see over the line like we were talking about earlier. He has a very strong and accurate arm, and he also is a great leader. And he also is, I think what I enjoy about TJ the most is about him is that, he'll come in, text me with questions, very engaging a lot. And then Malik, great leader as well. Lively arm. I mean, I think he could probably throw the ball 70 yards if he wanted to. And then obviously you saw this past game, Malik, on the ground as a run threat where he had 130 rushing yards. So, sometimes when I think about it, I think, I kind of look back last year to Kansas, where they had Bean and Daniels kind of doing the 2 quarterback stuff here and there. I think that's something that we can do because we really do. We have 2 quarterbacks that are elite. They're both SEC quarterbacks. That's not a lot of people have that.
I know, nobody else in the Sun Belt has anything like this. This is the best quarterback room that Texas State might have ever had. I
Truly, yeah.
I don't want to go. Well, you don't want to make like statements like that because then somebody's like, "Well, what about '84?" And you're like, "Well, okay, I don't know about '84."
Well, how much video do we have on those guys now? You know,
in the FBS era, by the way, this is one thing that you can now say that Texas State 1-0 against North Dakota State, by the way, beat them in the national championship in '81. So,
you're right here, baby.
Yeah, exactly. You're on the right side of history on that one. But no, like I think that in the FBS era, this for sure is the best quarterback room that Texas State's had. I just find it concerning because every time any coach, and this isn't a GJ Kinney thing, this isn't a Texas State thing, this is just football. Anytime a coach has been like, we have a starter and a closer, it hasn't worked out. Like just across like the history of college football. And that makes me concerned. Now, we haven't done that yet, and I don't think that that's something we're going to do. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Is that, you're not changing quarterbacks midstream, right?
No. I mean, everything's working as how we want it to right now. Obviously, kind of above my pay grade to make those decisions.
Oh, yeah.
I think we have everything in place right now, everything we want in front of us. And I think the most important thing is just coming to work every day and hammering the things that are working continuously. So, Coach Kinne and Coach Leftwich, obviously those are the guys that make those decisions. They made their decision and they're going to stick by it. So. But
there's a reason you're around here. It's not like they don't just keep you around because you're good looking. They keep you around because they want to hear your opinion on things. Yeah. So if you were to tell me like, no, Zimmel, you're completely wrong on this. Like, we're going to pull guys and move guys around, do whatever we want. Then I mean, that's something that I would take as fact because I don't have a Walter Payton Award.
Yeah.
Like
I think all I can do is speak from experience. Last year it was myself, and then we had a very good quarterback. He had a lively arm, understood the game real well, and at the end of the day, we had a quarterback battle. And I was fortunate enough to win that battle, and it's kind of through the good, bad, and ugly. We just kind of stick through that, and just kind of learn from our mistakes and whatnot. And I think that's the way we operate here. If it ever comes down to it, I'm sure they'll make the best decision that they need to. But as of right now, the way things are in place is going to stay that way. So.
The way I guess I imagine this goes down is like you have GJ and all the coaches, obviously, and then you're like A+ student, basically. You're like, hey, well, this is what we did last year, and then like if they ever encounter
the TA, you're the TA.
Weird, yeah, like you can be like, hey, this is what I did.
Yeah, I mean, I try to use my experience, especially just being in this in the system. They'll ask me for input every now and then, but I'm still a newbie on this side of the football game. So
we want to talk about the USFL and all that type of good stuff, but is this something you're enjoying doing is coaching?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it.
For the audio audience, that was a nod, yes.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoy it. I remember during fall camp, it was like my first or second practice, and my little brother, by the way, Logan Scott, he plays football at Southern University in Baton Rouge. We play together at Nichols. He's my best friend. So we text all the time, talk all the time, just like brothers do. And I remember going out there, I was like, yeah, okay, like, so last year, this is how I would do this, your footwork, boom, boom, there. Just try it out. And, they did it, it worked out, and they continued to do it. And I remember getting that real good feeling like, dang, this is what coaching kind of feels like, to kind of have a game plan right on the wall and have, a player teach it to them and have them execute it. So I text them that, and I was like, yeah, this is a good feeling. Like, I enjoy this a lot. So it's definitely something I can see myself. I've been having these like dreams lately. I'm like a big time offensive coordinator in the NFL. So we'll see how that works out.
Okay. But first we got to get that XFL, the XFL deal going.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit off air. The merger, this is good for everybody. It feels like this is something that I thought 2 spring leagues is going to cannibalize each other. That's going to make it really tough, I think, for guys. But having them come together now, I think that's the best case situation. Talk to me about that process, man. Talk to us about it.
About the merger specifically, just how you.
Well, just being a professional athlete in any regard, because the rest of us are living vicariously through you as we sit on our couch watching.
Yeah. I guess I'll give you the whole rundown. I mean, after the combine and all that stuff, I was fortunate enough to go to the Jets in Tampa Bay rookie mini camp. Kind of getting up there and just seeing how everything is you got this at this time, this at that time, this at that time. You get on the practice field, everything's a little bit faster. The guy's a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter. So that was a great experience. And then after that, going into the XFL, the XFL is a little bit, I wouldn't say a little bit different from the NFL, but during the offseason, you're kind of on your own for training. They give you the playbook and all that stuff, but You kind of just go to wherever. Obviously, I'm training here with my old strength coach. I keep in touch with the head coach and the offensive coordinator continuously. I think the biggest thing is wake up and carry yourself like a pro, because when you're in the NFL, the XFL, you don't have anybody saying hey, we got weights at 7:30, you need to be here, and then if you don't make it, then you're on this list to run. It doesn't work like that. It's like, hey, you're going to train, you're going to study this playbook, and when January comes around, you're going to report. Either you're going to produce or not, or if you're going to be out of a job. So I think that's the biggest thing as a pro, is that you got to wake up and put food on your table.
You've always been a self-starter, though, right? Isn't that like kind of the scouting report?
Repeat that.
You've always been a self-starter.
Oh yeah,
like a guy that doesn't. You don't need to have like the punishment of doing extra conditioning.
Yeah, no, I prefer not to have the punishment of extra conditioning. I mean, that's something my parents have instilled in me since I was young. There's an end goal in place. This is how I've always thought about it. There's an end goal in place. For me personally, my end goal is to win the XFL and be the offense MVP and be the best quarterback and teammate possible. And then there's a starting spot. And then obviously there's things you need to do to, from start to finish, and you just kind of break them up into little sections. All right, from August to October, what can I do to put myself in position? From October to December, what can I do to put myself in position? And you continuously keep producing that process. Keep repeating that process over and over until you get to your end goal. If you don't get to your end goal, you go back and you tweak and, you change some things. But that's how I've always operated as a quarterback. I have a more of an analytical brain. 2 + 2 = 4 to me. So,
you're in the cyberspace. You can see it all. You're like, ooh,
I know, right?
You're in the Matrix.
I got wires in my head. You think you think I have a brain? It's just a bunch of wires. But but yeah, I would say self-starter for sure. I think that's an important trait as a quarterback too. It's like you have to be the catalyst sometimes of an offense. Just a catalyst in your own life and how you handle things. Can't wait for somebody to give it to you. You gotta go take it. So
on your bio for LSU, this is probably changed for the last time since 2017. Your redshirt freshman over there, it says tremendous leader. So that's not like something that people just put randomly.
Yeah. I think
like on the back of GJ's rookie card, it says great short game accuracy. So I mean, they don't just give those away. Okay, they don't just say tremendous leader on the player bio. You know.
I gotta give me one of those GJ player cards.
I got 5.
Do you?
You get them graded. That's what you need.
I need to get them graded, bro. No, it costs more to have them shipped than it did to buy them. But you know what? I'm happy to have them.
I was going to ask you also about GJ, right? We mentioned before this is the 5th stop for you. After you have that crazy year at UIW, y'all finish in the FCS semifinals. Like, what is the recruiting process for yourself? Like getting onto this staff? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah. Before I left UIW, Coach Kinne and I, we talked about, what to expect in the process coming forward. And he just kind of mentioned, he was like, if you ever want to get into coaching, just let me know. And I'll do my best to kind of, find a spot on the staff. So after I got let go by Tampa, I was like right between that and the XFL draft. I was back at home and I was like, well, I know I'll probably play in one in the spring league, so I don't want to go and get a computer job just yet. So I shot him a text and I was like, hey, if there's any chance I can come to San Marcos and help out with the quarterbacks or just anything you need, I would greatly appreciate it. He was like, all right, bet, give me a week and I'll get back to you. And he hit me back. He was like, sure, yeah, we got a spot for you. Come, help the quarterbacks out, come help Coach Leftwich out. The only stipulation is you can't get fat. You got to keep working out. So I was like, I think I could do that. So.
Damn, that's like a good story. That's a heartfelt story there, man. Also, it's impossible to get a job that they're like, by the way, 4 months of the year, I can't come into work. I gotta.
Hey, Lindsey, can you knock out this report?
That was the biggest thing. It was like I didn't want to go get a desk job at IBM or something like that and be like, hey, I appreciate the job, but look, January through May, can't help you out. I'm gonna be busy throwing touchdowns.
I'm on PTO.
So, yeah, that's a long time for PTO, and not everybody was brought up in the sports world. So a lot of people that won't really register for them.
It's funny because if you go back and look, I'm a nerd, so I read all those different sports books and shit like that from the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. The first NFL players, the Steel Curtain Steelers and shit, they would play a whole season and then they'd go back to their day jobs. So there was guys who were winning Super Bowls and then moving milk. You know what I mean? Having to sell cars again. And that's insane. But like, here we are.
I'm sure
Craziness. Anyway, I wanted to put that in there.
Yeah, it's probably I don't know how they did that. Could you imagine like just getting beat up, especially like in technology back then?
That's true. Yeah.
Beat up through a whole NFL season and just like, all right, I'm gonna work this construction job. That couldn't be good. So
I always tell the construction guys that my job is as like strenuous as theirs, and they don't buy it. I'm like, look, podcasting is pretty much a blue collar job. I gotta pick
on
up
the front lines.
Got to pick up a microphone every day. Like it gets heavy.
It's
I don't have
dangerous. It's dangerous in these streets.
I have calluses.
I know, dude. It's wild. It's a tough life we live.
Yeah. Hey, Lindsey, can you knock out this report for me? Sorry, we got Orlando this weekend. Maybe I can get it when we get back.
Jeez. Oh, but could you imagine, like, and then this is like, this would never happen to you. But for a guy like me, like, let's say you don't have your best game. Like, say it's a 2 turnover game or whatever. You come back to work on Monday, and they're around the cooler, and they're like, Butterfingers over here. Like, dude. What the, like
you're in the office
that would totally happen.
Pouring your coffee in the break room. It's like, man, that Scott guy, he really sucked this weekend. Like, oh,
or like you're in tech, so like they could break out all these advanced analytics on you. They'd be like, you really should be looking more towards.
It's like Scott lost this past weekend, but I'll tell you that beer softball league 4 for 4 with 2 home runs. So I mean, who really had a better weekend?
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. I don't know how it feels. I don't know. You probably just gotta take that one on the chin. I feel like that would encourage you to play better, Like
that's true.
I really want Todd from HR,
Dude.
Todd from HR is hassling me right now.
Yeah, Aaron from accounting is saying I should look at the sideline more. It's like, come on, you know what I mean?
The whole time you're really on Todd's fantasy team. He's pissed. He's upset.
He's trying to light a fire under you. That's what he's doing.
That would drive me the most crazy, I think, is that like people like me telling people like you that they're not any good. Like I if I had any athleticism, I couldn't stand for that, but I don't. So I coach from my couch.
I'm such a loser. I DM NFL players all the time. DM Dak Prescott every Sunday.
What are you telling?
I'm like, oh, well, when he went through that whole injury, I was like, 4 here for you, DCFL 4 DC 4 live, bro.
I have only DM'd a NFL player one time, and it was when I'm a Minnesota Viking fan. It was when Treadwell he had perfect pass right into the chest. He dropped it into the hand of a Packer, and then they took it back for 6, and that cost the Vikings for the game. And I texted him or like DM'd him on Twitter, and I was like, I cannot fucking believe that you let that happen, bro. And afterwards, like once you stop seeing red, you're like, what the hell did I just do? That's such a dumb thing. And then you got to follow up with like, hey, but I mean, congratulations on all the success and like the generational wealth, and like you put your family in such a better place. It's just a tough spot. It's a tough spot to be in as a fan.
When you're seeing red, it's hard to control yourself. It's hard to control yourself.
You got to be better. I have to be better.
Yeah.
I think all
24-hour rule.
All those DMs are going to come back to haunt me, I think, if I want to become like an NFL reporter. But like, that's not really an ambition of mine.
My favorite thing is when the guys you get like the screenshots of like whoever, like a pro wide receiver, they respond to the DMs, and the guys like, oh man, my bad, bro, big fan. And it's like, no, don't switch up now. Don't switch up now. Yeah, I've gotten some of those DMs before. After the North Dakota State game, that's some crazy DMs.
Who would be mad at you for a season that you had? You throw 71 touchdowns. What do these Cardinals fans need, bro?
Hey, I don't even think it was
I think he means North Dakota State fans.
Somebody was in my. Let me see. I'm gonna try to find it real quick while we talk.
Again, I don't
gets
know.
Haters all the time too, but it's not the same level. It's these people like in their mom's basement going, hey, I can do a podcast better than you guys.
Pretty much. The guy that said that nobody listens to our podcast, I thought that was funny. Then this is not a unique thing to me. Every podcaster gets it.
Everybody says
once you hit a certain level of acclaim, people just they start trying to take shots at you. It's just fine.
Here we go.
All right, let's hear it.
Here we go.
We gotta. I don't know about the cursing and stuff, but random guy, hey, how dumb are you? 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go, and you just throw the ball up, dumbass. I'm like,
that's from Andrew Zimmel. Whoa, that's crazy.
I'm not gonna. I get it though. Like upset fans, it happens. Obviously on the FCS level, you're not getting that many DMs and threats like that, but It is what it is. Comes with
I
the
don't
comes with
I
the
don't
job.
know. I don't know because these people up here are insane, bro.
Oh
They
yeah.
are
Well, I
crazy.
feel like up there it's a little like it's about time y'all get out the FCS in my opinion as well. I'm gonna just throw that out. Now I'm done.
Hey,
I'm done playing.
Yeah,
Take the
the,
I'm
JMU route, North Dakota State. Get out of here.
I'm here for
they've,
it.
they've
I'm
been
here
the top
for it.
horse for a long time.
Yeah, go challenge yourself, man. You got a nice
Yeah,
dome. You know,
take
you got
Secretariat behind the barn and put her down. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? No, I have been of the opinion that like the best of the FCS is about middle of the Sun Belt. Like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of play out with JMU.
Mhm.
Like JMU is an incredible program. They're one of the best teams in the East now. They had a
Mhm.
really good year one. Let's see if they do it year 2 and 3. That's
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say. But ODU's the same way, you know. So they got
I
a
think
FCS OC now. So
I know like when you move up, there's also some things that like kind of can help enrich your program. I think you get like a couple more scholarship spots to hand out. I think funding is a little bit different. So I mean, not that North Dakota State needs it; they're doing just fine. But it's like, you know, how much longer do you really want to whoop up on, you know, other FCS
well,
opponents?
you know what's
Forever, as
funny
long
is
as the
that
check clears, I guess.
Forever.
the Pac-12 just opened up 10 spots. So, you know, could be nothing like being in the Pacific Athletic Conference and you're in North Dakota. But, you know, crazier
Yeah,
things have happened.
kind of like
Stanford's in the ACC.
that's what I'm
ACC stands
saying.
for Atlantic.
There are going to be a lot of red eye flights next.
I
Next
have to look up all these teams now. It's so annoying. Before I used to be able to be like, oh, you know, I know when these guys kick off, or
Yeah.
you know, vice versa. But now it's like,
No,
It's definitely weird to me. Like, you know, just you got teams from California flying all the way to the East Coast to play. And it's just like I want to know how the players feel. And it's like, you
they
know,
hate it.
I can't wait for my 7:30 at night kickoff in you know, New Jersey. That sounds terrible. But it's a
I
long
was thinking
flight
about
back.
this. I was like, as a media member, I was like, this is great because like the 4 conferences I care the most about are like Big 12, Big 10, ACC, SEC. I was like, I'll never have to go to the West Coast now the Pac-12 is done. And now I was like, well, actually, I'm still gonna have to go to the West Coast at some point. Like, I'm still gonna have to go to cover USC at some point.
no, she didn't say the Sun Belt in that one. So,
and look, Texas left the Big 12. Looks like there's a spot open for Texas State. You know, that's all I'm saying. We got in trouble for that in a couple years ago. This is before. This is for the old heads. A while ago, Lindsey, we had an athletic director who hated us. Not me personally, but like just
actually,
us.
yeah, you personally.
And me personally too. It was like Anyway, point is, he was so upset with us because we thought, quote unquote, we should go to the Big 12. Texas State should be in the Big 12. Nobody's ever said that. Nobody has ever been, hey, you know what would be really fun? If Texas State played Baylor every other weekend. Like, we beat Baylor this year. I loved it. It was a great time. We play them every year. I don't know, man. Maybe that's the outcome every time. But I don't want to play TCU. I don't want to play Oklahoma every year. And
I think 5 years of a good, you know, GJ Kinney program, you can put us in the Big 12 for sure.
Okay, so you're giving me 5 years.
I mean, it might
put you on the record there
that
GJ's going to stick around for 5 because I've already had people telling me that he's going to Houston. You know, he'll end up at Michigan State. Like I've already heard so many different people being like, "Dude, can you believe it that GJ's going to leave in a year?" Like, can we put that to rest that he's a guy who's a committed man? He'll stick around.
He's definitely a committed man. I think he's also a grown man. I can't speak for him, but I know that he's put a lot into this program, especially with recruiting and stuff like that. And he's trying to build for the future of Texas State. So I think you can rest easy on that for now.
Kenny, believe it.
This is like one of the best interviews we've ever had, Jacob. Mostly because I feel better afterwards. Most of these interviews I leave I'm like, right. I feel like a lot of questions were answered. Is my point here.
For the fans at home, I've been replaying when GJ got named the head coach at Texas State, and he goes, "I'm going to stay the head coach at Texas State. I'm going to be here for a long time." I've been having that on repeat.
No, I'm committed to Texas State. I think anytime you're good at what you do, you're going to get rewarded for that. And I'm just so happy to be here, and I'm definitely committed to Texas State.
When all these people are chirping around, so it's nice to hear.
Your alarm in the morning?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, the alarm he used to have was from the last head coach that was like, "We're going to win games. We're going to win conference championships." It's like, well, brother, you woke up in a sad existence every morning with that. So
woke up to a nightmare for sure.
brother. It's a tough road we hoe here. Yeah,
Well,
I don't know. What else?
We sure hope to keep your dreams a reality. That's our plan.
All right.
Print the shirts.
Yeah.
We
Print the
hope
shirts.
We sure hope to keep your
your
dreams
dreams a reality. Texas State football.
Boom. That's fire. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us a little bit, Lindsey.
No problem. Anytime. I got.
Oh, last thing. Podcast advice. Do you have any questions for us as you
yeah.
get ready for your podcast?
So everybody, who's tuning in right now, got a podcast. Or you're starting up soon called the 7th Year Podcast with my co-host Stephen Duncan. He was my backup quarterback last year. He's killing it in Germany. I'm waiting for him to come home from, I almost said something really bad from balling out out there. So
I was over Berlin.
My what is Dresden, Germany.
Dresden,
Germany, Dresden Monarchs. I guess my question to you guys, what are 3 of the most important things you would give to someone who is new in the podcasting game?
I think number 1 is like content, which I don't think you guys would have a problem. You guys are very like official sounding people. You're one of the best quarterbacks last year. He's in Germany right now, balling out of control.
Yeah. Okay.
And then a mic to them. What else?
I was gonna say chemistry and personality. Those are the top 2.
Oh, trust me, we got plenty of that.
Yeah. Perfect. See, and there you're good. You're good to go. I mean, like the other thing that has really helped me out in my podcasting career is having a producer who really likes to edit. And it does a really good job of making clips and stuff. Because without Jacob, this podcast would just be me screaming into a void. So getting a producer like Jacob that is like always ready to hey, we'll set this interview up. Hey, we'll cut this clips and stuff like that. Having somebody that wants to do that is really big. So if you know how you're a tech whiz, if you know how to edit audio or edit video and audio, you're good to go. You're set.
Pro quarterback. Coach, producer,
podcaster. And I'll tell you what,
resume is crazy.
I'll tell you what, when you're on the sideline after winning that MVP and the XFL championship, and they're going through the list, and they're like, Lindsey Scott, he threw 4 touchdowns in this championship game, and he proved Todd accounting wrong that he can get the big game done. What do you want to say to the people? Subscribe to the podcast. 7th year.
Oh, I could. That's a good idea. You just look that first, and the XFL, they do like the little sideline, interviews like after touchdowns and stuff. It's just that 7th year every time.
Yeah, that's your undershirt you got to wear under your pads.
Yeah,
at 7th Year Podcast.
Get the mouth guard, bro, and just like when they got the camera on you and you're going out the audibles, you smile. It says number 7 year, and you're good to go.
Face tap, might as well.
Hey, what I tell you? What I tell you, marketing. The guy needs a job in marketing.
We're a marketing team, Lindsey.
The wing of the podcast, like the state media of Squaring Around, and Chris Coots giving me free shit, and it's like perfect. It's like a match made in heaven.
Perfect.
That's great.
That is Chris. Is Chris in the room?
Is he?
Oh dear. He's in the room with us right
now. That's the
like
funniest. That's the funniest thing in the world when he could be. Well, I guess you gotta get Zimmo another shirt. I thought that was so funny.
Oh my goodness.
Because Jacob is jealous. He's totally jealous.
Pissed. Yeah, I'm like, first of all, I built
no shirts for Jacob.
This platform from the ground up is all me. This is me building it, and then it's all fun and games until Todd from accounting is like, "Hey, I think your audio levels were a little off in this last."
Todd from accounting, we hate Todd from accounting.
No, honestly.
Well, look, I'll make this deal with you. Whatever I get, the next time you can have it. Whatever the hoodie, shirt, whatever, I got you.
All right, I'm down.
Are you talking to Jacob? Or are you talking to me? Or are you talking to both? Because that's
you got enough shirts. You got enough shirts.
Sweet.
That's fine.
My guy, Lindsey Scott Jr.
That's fair.
Subscribing to the 7th year.
First sub right there.
First sub.
Thanks, man.
If you guys want the word shirt, it's a little UIW shirt with everybody from last year. I got you on that.
Okay.
For sure.
I look.
I won't say no to a free shirt.
I'm still a Squarin lover. I'm not putting. I already said that. Other people in San Antonio are wearing UTSA shit, and No matter where I go, I got my Bobcat swag on.
There
Thank
we
you,
go.
Chris,
It was a test.
for dressing
it was
me.
a test. It was a test.
Yeah. And I passed it, right? And Jacob failed.
Jacob failed. Damn, Jacob.
Hell, what, half the team's from UIW. I'm just supporting the home crowd.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's the.
Not wrong.
My face is gonna start cramping soon.
Lindsey, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been a
No
blast.
problem.
Still no Texas State shirts on home field, Andy. I'm gonna keep talking about it.
I understand. I want him to support Texas State as much as the next guy, but I know a bunch of people who graduate from other universities. I know you are a Bobcat through and through. Mm-hmm. I have Minnesota ties. I got West Virginia ties. I got ties at UT. I got a lot of ties everywhere, and guess what? They have shirts for every team except for Texas State. I love home field. I wear their shirts proudly all the time. You can go shop over there as well and use code SQUARE to get a discount off. Use code SQUARE.
Yeah, I'm a big Tulane guy, big green wave guy. No, I don't own any home field apparel. My first home field apparel shirt is going to be a Texas State one. Book that shit.
There you go. I have my Minnesota shirt. I got a West Virginia shirt. North Dakota State's got a couple of shirts on there that I've been looking at. They got a couple of good ones.
Homefield.com. Use code SQUARE at checkout. For everybody watching at home, I'm so sorry my hair sucks. Look at this. This is horrible. So I'm in a hat. I can't find my barber. He's an active missing person, to me at least, because I cannot get a hold of him at all. He moved shops the last time I saw him. And yeah, that's basically what I was worrying about the entire time while as Lindsey was talking. Because I'm not worried about
our brand. What about our brand manager?
Which one? Alyssa?
Yeah, why can't she do it?
What has she done lately? She wants to cut my hair. I refuse to let her do it.
I think that that's a good bonding process for you guys. I think that that's something that
you think it'll go better than it would, right? Like, I don't trust anybody with my hair. I got my hair cut before I came to Texas State. There had only been one guy, basically, or two people that had like cut my hair ever.
Well, I think you should let her do it. I'm on the side of Alyssa. Let her cut your hair. It's a bonding experience. It's one of those things where, like, if now you have a barber, you don't have to pay whatever you pay for a haircut. And if it doesn't work out, well, it's a fight that you started. It's a fight that you could have prevented, that you totally got into, and now you got to work your way out of the end of it. So I think it works out good for you.
That's really
I would let her cut it.
It's really a dub for the bald man, because like guys who are balding who are my age, they're like, existential crisis. Like, think about me, man. I got to spend $40 a month bare minimum to cut my hair. If I want to look really sharp, that's $80 a month, every 2 weeks. It grows like weed.
That's why you need to let Alyssa cut it. You got to let Alyssa cut it. Now, what do you feel about, and then we got to talk Texas State, but last thing, girlfriend tattooing you. How do you feel about that? Girlfriend, amateur tattoo out.
I've had friends who have gone down this path, and it's never good, especially when you break up, because then you're like, I got this dumb drawing of a, what is that, Fall Guy on my arm now, and all I think about is her.
So haircut better than tattoo?
No, I think haircut's worse, honestly. I'd rather get a tattoo. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Alyssa can tap me up because I already want tats anyway. So
okay. Let's talk Nevada, Jacob, because last year we lost to Nevada. It was a game that cost you an ESPN Plus subscription. It probably cost Jake Spavital his job, all things considered.
And there was so much shit talking between me and now a lot of my friends are on the social media team at Texas State for the football team, right? Great, fantastic, woo, love you guys. Last year, you were talking mess to me online post Nevada win when I was like, I never want to see a Texas State highlight ever again. And you know what? If we just cut out all of this year, last year was awful.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of curious to see who on the media staff was talking trash to you. That's kind of interesting.
I remember with Alex, it was my guy Kirby.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm glad that we squashed that beef. Yeah, Nevada is not a good football team. They weren't a good football team last year. They come into
last team they beat is us, apparently.
Yes, they haven't won a game in a year. This should be another one of those games where we absolutely kick the dog piss out of the team that we play. I have finally come around to what the Between Two Bears guy said. I think Texas State might be good, Jacob. Beware. I think that we finally have come around that, like, this is a pretty good team.
And the vibes were immaculate. I did a stand-up outside tailgate. This lady came up and punched me in the arm. This other drunk guy got on camera with me and I had a good time. I didn't use any of those for clips because how the hell could I? But it was a fun rock roaring atmosphere. And I think that's what happens when you have a journalism department at your school. People are a lot more camera friendly. So I learned that at UCF.
I don't know, man.
People wouldn't go on camera with me over there.
I don't know. I think that there's something to be said for just the magic elixir of alcohol that I think that gives a lot of people some liquid courage a little bit to get on camera.
Brings me to my next point. San Marcos PD is arresting everybody out there. If you are underage, I cannot advertise this enough. Do not drink.
That's bad, crazy. Man. So this is.
I was
clip walking, this. This is the clip right here.
Yeah. I was walking through the tailgate trying to find some stuff. All I saw were like drunk girls getting arrested by San Marcos police officers. It was bad. It was bad.
No, I can say
Groups,
I have
like 10 or 15.
I can say I've never been arrested for drinking in public as a minor. I know you have not been arrested for drinking in public as a minor, but I can tell you we both drank in public as minors. And it is a dangerous world. The San Marcos PD, they look, end of the month. I always
really, if you think about it now.
I always say this: it's wrong. It's unethical. I think police departments have a whatchamacallit quota. They're trying to hit. They're trying to collect as many of those MIPs as possible at the end of the month.
Also,
and
how
sorry,
easy
ladies,
is it to spot a
really
freshman that's drunk, right? Like it's like, oh, look at that dummy over there. Let's go get him.
Yeah, it's the first time a lot of these people have been out of their mom's basement. It's the first time they get to be in public. I will say this: that if you are a alumni and you see, say, maybe a little bit of underage drinking. I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, but I'm saying that if I was you, maybe protect the younger Bobcats. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, if you see a little cub going astray, be like, hey, buddy, you need a water instead of this Modelo over here?
Yeah. How about a little less White Claw, a little bit more Dasani?
Never think of that. Yeah. Because instead of the Bud Light tent, why don't you head to the Dasani Powerade?
Yeah. Maybe we would direct you that way. No, I'm glad that San Marcos PD is cleaning up the mean streets.
Apart from that,
they got the right priorities.
The vibes at Tailgate were immaculate. It was right at Tailgate Central where it was before. They had Tailgate Central, like that main strip in front of Strand, and then that grassy area. And then I want to say there was even some other stuff like the Tea Association and other stuff. We're on the other side of the stadium in front of the baseball area, So there's a lot of stuff going on. I walked around everywhere.
Better or worse than last year?
I like this way because this is how like you and I grew up going to tailgates, So it was very like cathartic for me. Instead of a big parking lot that it was last year, it was just the tailgate that I had always known. So I had no trouble maneuvering through there.
Okay. All right. So don't change it again. Don, you're listening. Don't change it again.
Well, because having it in front of the stadium was really cool. Like I went to those with some of our boys and it was a good time. Great time. And it cut down like traffic time like by a lot because like if you were lucky enough to like park in like the Cross Stadium parking like Bobcat Stadium or Bobcat Village I should say, like you're good. All you just do is walk across the street, you go party, and then you can go to the game. And this crowd was 24,000 strong. I'd never seen that before. I was blown away. Took so many videos of different fans and stuff. Cheerleaders were getting into my face, going like, "Yeah!" So it was a lot of excitement.
I had to explain to Colton yesterday. We did Sunbelt Fun Day Friday on a Wednesday. Anyway, with our guy Scott, who's coming on the podcast next week. Talk Southern Miss. But Colton was ecstatic about this fan base, Jacob. Like he could not talk enough about how good of a fan and presence it was. We have been, and I have been personally in the stadium when there was nobody there. Like literally nobody. Alumni didn't show up. Students didn't show up.
Journalists didn't show up.
Journalists didn't show up. The football team didn't show up half the time.
And coaches didn't show up.
Making jokes over here. But yeah, that packed and that rowdy last week was great. It was a great experience, I think, for those players. But, like Lindsey said, man, this is not something they're not used to. They put 70 points up on the board at UIW. This is not the exception. This is the standard. And that is what Texas State's doing. That being said, conspiracy theory time. Put your tinfoil hats on. I think Texas State ran the score up. Against Jackson State. I don't think Jackson State was very good. It's not prime times Jackson State. I think they ran the score up because I said before the season, there's no way they average 50 points per game. With 77 points, that is going to bump the average up. they could average 35 points per game here in the Sun Belt. Like, there's a real possibility, the way that the other teams have looked, South Alabama, Troy, Southern Miss, there's a chance here that Texas State averaged 35 points per game, which would be, in my estimation, I think the most points per game they've ever scored at the FBS level for a season, which is insane. That's crazy.
The team, I meant to bring this up with UIW quarterback Lindsey Scott Jr. on the podcast, but the last team this team that UIW is going to play this week lost by 91 points. And now, obviously, UIW is running like an offshoot kind of what they ran last year. But if they're going to put up points, like, you're going to expect that too. So, yeah, I mean, this whole staff is used to putting up insane numbers. And when you said that about the averages, I was like, oh, my God, you're right. Yeah. And it was funny because GJ was like, obviously, I have tremendous amount of respect for Jackson State. We didn't want that game to get out of hand.
We didn't want to, throw the ball down the field just because of, I have a lot of respect for Jackson State.
And I was like, we scored 71 points, man. What do you mean?
There was a legit thought in my head, and I texted with our friends during the game. I was on a bunch of different Bobcat text threads. At one point, the conversation was 100 points. And I think if TJ plays the entire game, I think it's possible. Now, you should
just
never
all
ever
the ones in. Yeah, it would be nuts.
You should never score 100 points in a college football game just from like a sportsmanship, gamemanship type of thing. But man, like 80 points, 90 points, 77 is insane. Like, shout out that. Like, and the other thing, Jacob, that we haven't talked about, this is the first time I'm telling you this, the amount of Texas State alumni who are not sports fans, Texas State alumni who didn't go to games, did not care about the football team, advocated to pave over the football stadium for parking like the University Star did. Like,
one writer from the University Star, not the entire paper.
Came out in droves after the 77-point showing. Like, they were texting me being like, oh my God, we have a football team. Like, this is insane. This is incredible. You must be happy, Zimmel. And I was very happy. I'm very excited. I'm very excited that this is the football team I get to root for my first time in my life. I can go Saturday to Saturday feeling excited. And even after the USFL loss, I was happy.
I'm so lucky to be a freshman at Texas State right now. Could you imagine, like, the class of 2020, what is this, 4?
Yeah.
Nuts. 2023, whatever. But, yeah.
Class of 2028.
Yeah, there you go. The graduating class here. Yeah, no, congratulations to everybody all around. I'm so jealous. This wasn't the sort of football we were watching and we were growing up, We're talking.
No.
You brought up Scott Watkins, but you also know homeboy at OU. What's that guy's name?
George Stoya.
George Stoya, one of the best young college football writers in the country, who basically got to cover Heisman after Heisman after Heisman. Now we finally get our own little version of that.
No. This is about the right.
I said little version.
Yeah. And well, it wasn't all peaches and cream. If you saw him this week, he was complaining about Lincoln Riley. So,
hey,
yeah, you get to go to the college football playoffs, but the coach is mean to you. I understand you shouldn't, have state media, but I
got to cover like how many national championship runs? 4, 3,
4. Well, and that's only in football. You're forgetting that the most incredible run ever in softball.
Oh, true.
Boomer Sooner softball program. Yeah,
and they're still going actually too. There's a buzzsaw through everybody.
Yep.
So yeah, with that success though, I did hear some chirps on the sidelines because I was shooting video for this game because Ish was there, and when big editor is there.
When the boss is there, you have to do your job.
When the boss is there, I get to just kind of screw off a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But so I was shooting video on the sideline for most of the game with our guy, Zach Webb. And I got to hear some of these Texas State chirps. Something about us going after an HBCU program did not sit well with me. I was like, maybe if this was last year with prime time or, something like that. But yeah, I was like, Texas State fans, the worst in the Sun Belt now? Question mark?
No, stop it. Stop it. We had to defend ourselves against the Longhorn fans that said we vandalized their car. We had to defend ourselves.
And I got the police reports and nothing happened. So yeah.
If you're a Texas State fan and you're acting like a jackass, don't stop, please. You're making the rest of us look bad.
And the last thing, how do you say Nevada? Nevada. It was a big thing with GJ this week. Nevada.
Yeah, I say Nevada. I don't know. Do y'all say that? Nevada? Does it matter? I think, I say Nevada. And I think they did, like when we played them last year, they did like a thing like Nevada. I say Nevada.
A few days of getting to live with it. Talk about their performance, what it was like to see Malik get out there and play. Are we potentially going to see both this week against Nevada.
Yeah.
I'm sure that depends on if it goes right, but Nevada. I'm sorry. There I go.
Yeah, I don't know. I say Nevada. Maybe that's like a East Texas thing. I don't know.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
Jalen
How are you?
Oliver.
Nevada or Nevada?
Nevada.
Nevada. There you go.
You know, real quick on Nevada. Now you got me thinking about it too much.
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, I think that's how I say it too. Nevada.
I'm never gonna be like we went to. I'm never saying Nevada. It's just not like the state that I think about all the time.
Nevada,
right?
Nevada.
Nevada. No, Las Vegas, Nevada. No, this
it was Mexico at one point, so you got to say it right. Hispanic Heritage Day.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, this is a big game because Texas State could be 3-1 for the first time since 2013. And the Southern Miss game, they go to the Rock, go to Hattiesburg to play the Golden Eagles. If they win, this is a untapped place for Texas State. If they win 4 games, think about that. Like if they win 4 of their first 5 games, that's something that Texas State I don't think has done in the FBS era. I'm pretty sure they haven't done that in the FBS era. Won 4 of their first 5.
4 games before, but that was over the course of an entire season. I've never seen them win 4 games in 5.
And another thing, got to put this out here. A win this week would get us halfway to the 6-6 mark that we had before the season, which we said the goal is 6-6. This is a 6-6 podcast. Beating Baylor, we moved it up 1. We said, you know what? 7-5. 7-5. Can we make 7-5? Everybody okay with that? 7-5. So a win this week would get us halfway to the 7-5 mark too. So, I'm excited. I'm really, really pumped about this this game this weekend. I'm pumped that Texas State should absolutely bulldoze Nevada again off of them and keep their scoring run going. So I'm thinking to myself, we're going to go score prediction 48, 14.
I'm going to go higher. I think it's going to be a 50 ball. Yeah, I think Kelly told GJ, these guys embarrassed me last year in my first football season here. Man, go do something about it.
Yeah, no, and Kelly and Don, man, shout out to them. When Don was hired as the AD, I will be completely transparent. I had a couple of what does this really mean? We're replacing an athletic director with the assistant AD. I don't know how I feel about this. He has done an incredible job. Right now, he is a 10 out of 10 perfect score for me. I don't think that there's anything he could be doing different from what he's done to this point. And that's not just saying it because I'm wearing his hat. No, I really do believe that he did a incredible job, and Kelly is the same way. I cannot tweet anything without Kelly Danfus liking it. So that just goes to show you that he is a degenerate like myself, and just on Twitter all the time. We're on X all the time. So I'm super happy with where we're at. The temperature right now for the Texas State football program, the vibes are immaculate. And that, it's putting 77 points on the board will do that. I still think about this thing, Jacob, that I talked to people Wednesday night. They had Texas State pick number 1 in the West. That's the first time that's ever happened. Yeah. Nobody in the history of Texas State at the FBS level, nobody has ever said we were the best team in our division of the conference. We're getting talked about like we might be the best division or best team in the conference, which means by default, because the Sun Belt's one of the best group of 5 conferences, that we're one of the best group of 5 teams in the country. That's never been the case ever. And if we get to that point, 5, right, be damned, bowl game be damned, bowl win be damned. If we are in those conversations, unmitigated success. And I never thought that was going to be the case with GJ Canning. Wildest dreams, I would never have guessed that we could be a conference championship contending team.
Well, and you take away everything that this team has done to this point too. If you go back and you look at the write-ups that we were getting before the season started, right? Same coach, same players, same everything. And everybody was shitting on us still. They didn't see the potential. We even were pretty conservative on our stuff early on.
And I think we have every right to be. I think Texas State fans who were conservative, myself included, yourself included, we have every right to be. There's skeletons in the closet. I still think that there's another shoe that's going to drop here at some point, but I'm feeling great. And Craven, who picked us 12th out of 13 teams in Texas.
Second to dead last, Michael Craven.
Second to dead last. Second to a program who was an FCS program a year ago. And now we are in the conversation with the Texases of the world, and that's it.
And that's
right?
it.
Like,
yeah, Colorado at one point this season.
No. I mean, like, for the state of Texas in those power rankings, like, Texas Tech kind of sucks. We beat Baylor.
Tech sucks ass, dude.
UTSA has a loss on their record now. Now, granted, they beat us head to head. So if you want to say they're better, higher than us, that's fine.
But then they lost to a service academy right after that.
TCU, I'd put them in that conversation potentially, but still, like, I think Texas State right now, if you are a Bobcat fan who has not got on the bandwagon, there's still plenty of room. There's still plenty of room. And if you are a San Marcos resident that's listening to this podcast who did not go to Texas State, I have a seat right for you. Jump on. I will let you sit next to me, even though that Jacob absolutely is against that, but that's fine. I have room for you.
All ye faithful. Yeah, I mean, what was crazy, right? I had to go to the bathroom at one point during the game on Saturday, and so I went to the general population bathroom. It was such a crazy line in the men's bathroom. That's when you know some place is packed. So I had to go to the place nobody was going, a little secret bathroom I knew from my undergraduate days. And yeah,
the bush is outside.
No. But yeah, it was crazy packed. There was so many people there, and I was like, I can see why we're updating everything around here because we need it now. The shoe still fits. I wrote a thing about DCTF and how when Texas State was losing, fortunately, we were still investing massive amounts of money into, really to the point of criticism on our part. Like why are we justifying all this money going to the athletics department? But fortunately, when Texas State was losing, they were investing all this money. And now we're in a point where, like, we're continuing to grow. And now finally success is like following our trajectory as well.
Yeah.
So really cool to see.
Good stuff.
Right in front of us, man. Beat Nevada. Thanks for watching, everybody. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, follow Lindsey's podcast too, man.
I can't wait. So let me say this. We have had a couple of people come on the pod. Only one has asked one of us to come back on. Like, we did the Alamo Audible one with the UTSA guy, which I will say that could have been a better pod. I apologize to the people on the network who were not happy with that product. That's fine.
They didn't like that? Who didn't like that?
Me. I didn't like that.
Oh, you didn't like that? Well,
yeah.
They did the same recording, right? The next one that we did, and then they did the recording we liked better. So,
yeah. So anyway, point is that I believe that we should be brought on for 7th year. I'm making that a point to say in this podcast, to put it on the record, that if you and I, one of us should be invited to come on and talk on that podcast, because I think it would be fun. I think we are hilarious, and I think they would enjoy it. And I have a ton of sauerkraut questions. I have a ton of sauerkraut jokes I did not make. A ton of German jokes that just got left on the vine. So
the backyard of Texas State, New Braunfels, proud German community. So
sponsor us, City of New Braunfels.
At City of New Braunfels, at Wurstfest. Sponsor your boys. Sprechen Sie Wurst. Thanks for watching, everybody.
We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Better not come any closer.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.